what I do with transmission parts versus what she does with transmission parts. Come on now. So this is my rebuilt 5-speed Miata transmission from the 2000. Apparently there's two series. There's an older one, a late 2000 and an early 2000. This is the late 2000, and I just got it rebuilt at a shop around the corner. It was, what was the name of it? Transmax on Forsyth. You guys are from Orlando. It was pretty cheap, not too expensive. He did a really solid job, showed me exactly what was going on. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, so we got the internals rebuilt. The second gear synchro is a 3-piece synchro, and it's different on the later and early 2000s. But what I did get is I got the 95 rebuilt kit, which came with all the other synchros, gears, and bearings for pretty cheap because I couldn't actually find the 2000 one. But yeah, so I got that, got it rebuilt pretty cheap to put back together. I went ahead and taped off the important bits, and I just got some real cheap high performance enamel from Walmart, $5. Why not? It's gonna get messed up again, but who cares? It's whatever. I don't have anything to work on right now because everything's at the machine shop. But yeah, I thought I'd make it look nice, so I cleaned it off a little bit with a brush. It didn't go so great. Tried some paint thinner, a bunch of different things. I gave up, so just a little spray paint on top, and yeah, she looks pretty nice. Alright, we have a shiny new transmission. So for cleaning it up, I went to Walmart and I got a bottle of this fast paint and varnish stripper. What I did was I sprayed it on pretty thick, and then after that I let it sit for a few moments, and then I got a copper brush. It's just a Scotch-Brite like pad like this, and I use this to really scrub away some of the built-on grease and whatnot that was on there. But the important thing is that this leaves a really nice dry finish on there so that we don't have any oil to mess with the paint adhering to the surface, which is the important part. So you let it sit for a little bit, and then you wipe it off, because this actually needs to be wiped off pretty clean. It leaves kind of like a sticky residue. So once I wiped it off, I washed it off with a little water, wiped it off with a cloth, and then it was pretty ready. I let it sit for a few hours, dried up, and there she goes. Ready for paint. You want to tape off is the top of the turret. You also want to tape off the output shaft there. You want to make sure that all your wires and sensors are properly covered up, and the plug ends as well as the ends here. It's not as important. And then anything you're going to be removing, so any bolts or stuff like that, make sure your bolts are in the holes if you want to make sure the holes threads stay perfectly nice. Another thing you want to do, in case you want anything to stay like this right here, I wanted that to stay, so I didn't bother painting over that because it probably would have covered it up. Another important thing is the VIN number. So you want to make sure that your VIN plate is covered pretty well, because it was already pretty nice. I just cleaned it up and covered it up, so I didn't paint over it because the paint might be a little too thick depending on how you lay it. Another thing is the fill port. You want to make sure your fill port is covered properly, because I don't know about you guys, but I already have a rough time getting this thing off, so didn't want to add any extra paint onto it so I can flip around. And then you also wanted to cover up your drain port for the same reasons. But yeah, that's about it. I left the boot on here because mine is torn, as you can see, so I'm going to end up replacing this boot anyways, so it was fine to just go ahead and paint and keep that safe at least. I could have taped this off, but you know, lazy. It's metal. It doesn't matter. It'll be okay. But yeah, that's the basics of it. Looks pretty legit. And that's the backyard spray paint transmission job.